The season of the dawn is upon us, and today we got Destiny Update 2.7.0 with a whole slew of changes. We got the new season of the dawn with Osiris, Saint 14, and all of those good sundial fun that we're going to have throughout the season. First, we're going to go over the patch notes that came out today on Bungie.net, and then we're going to go into my first thoughts and first impressions on the season so far. I got a little bit of time to play today. I actually did a really long stream today of about 4.5 hours waiting for the launch to start, and then about 2 hours of actual gameplay. So that's what you'll be seeing in the background here. If you want to see more of this stuff, you can go on over to twitch.tv/vitaminp. I stream whenever I can. It's mostly Destiny stuff and other stuff as always, but mostly Destiny stuff right now. If anyone want to go check that out, please do. And anyway, guys, let's hop into the patch notes for this update. So first up, we have the changes to the finisher system. Now you will be able to multi-equip finishers by favoriting them by pressing R3 on controller and Shift if you're on mouse and keyboard to mark a finisher as the favorite. When you do this, you'll be able to have your finishers randomized every time you hit G or hold down R3. You'll be able to get multiple finishers randomized. You don't have to always have one. You can sort through all of them because they did add a lot of finishers with this update. And if you don't have any finishers activated on your favorites, it'll just do the basic finisher for your class. The giant changes to the solar subclasses and some other subclasses also dropped today. We'll go over Titans, Hunters, and then Warlocks in that order. First off, Titan, Sunbreaker Code of the Forge, that is the top path of Sunbreaker, had Vulcan's Rage get buffed. Vulcan's Rage is now much more angry. Increased the detonation time minimum from 0 seconds to 0.5 seconds, and increased the cluster speed. I think this is a really good change, especially with the detonation time getting increased to half a second. It doesn't seem like a whole lot, but it does make a big difference when you're in game. Then we go on to Hammer of Soul in general. The impact damage of Hammer of Soul has been decreased from 70 down to 5. Now, I haven't had a whole lot of time to play with regular Hammer of Soul today, but I haven't been able to play with the middle tree, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But having the impact damage decrease and having the detonation time increased at the same time is a big nerf to Hammer of Soul, even though this also does affect the bottom tree of Sunbreaker. The middle path is unaffected by these changes. Speaking of middle path, the Code of Devastator has its throwing hammer has been buffed. The impact damage of throwing hammer has been increased from 100 to 120, which is really good. You can kill a lot more red bar ads and some even orangish bar ads, like the middle tier ads you can actually kill now with it. And the radius has increased, so you don't have to stand so close to it to pick it up anymore. Roaring Flames has also gotten an increased damage bonus today, from separated between PvE and PvP, from 20% per stack to 30% stack in PvE, and from 10% stack to 25% per stack in PvP. It's also increased the duration time from 15 to 20 seconds, which is a lot more time than you'd really expect to do in game. 5 extra seconds is a lot for a lot of these damage buffs. Burning Maul has also gotten an update. We'll increase the idle super duration from 21.2 seconds to 28.5 seconds. That super is going to last a little bit longer. They did also reduce the super energy cost for the light attack from 5% to 3%, and they also tuned some of the movement in there. It's kind of wonky at first. And then the heavy attack, they reduced the speed of heavy projectile slams, so it's a little slower, but it's going to make up for it with the increased height of projectile hitbox. You make it easier to hit those airborne opponents. I've actually really noticed this during the sundial activity. There's a lot of Cabal that like to float in the air. Previously you would not have been able to hit them with the heavy attack, but you definitely can now. They also increased the super energy cost from 6% to 8% just to bring it up to snuff with the rest of the attacks, and also increased the terminal explosion size when you're using that heavy attack. It got a lot more blasts, a lot more knockback on those as well. Sunbreaker's bottom path also got an update, with Mortar Blast getting increased explosion radius from 5 meters to 6 meters. Just a little bit more, but I definitely think it makes a difference this time. Soul Invictus also got an update where his burning targets you kill also make sunspots. You can also heal when you kill those burning targets. Kills with the Sun Warrior buff can now also make sunspots now, and there's a bunch of changes added to that. It's a lot of big detailed stuff that is pretty minuscule and stuff like that, so don't really need to cover over it. Sun Warrior also got an ability recharge scaler by 35%, just to make sure that it's in line with the rest of the abilities. Outside of the solar subclass, the Titan also got the Code of Missile middle path. Striker Titan Thunder Crash got a very much needed buff. The base damage from that has been increased from 2700 to 3200. The flight damage got a buff from 100 to 200, and also increased the amount of time you have in the air after activation, so you get a little bit more yeet when you start using your Code of the Missile. Everyone's favorite class, Hunter, also got buffs to their solar subclasses today, with the Gunslinger, Way of the Outlaw top path getting changes to Explosive Knife. For Explosive Knife, they changed the proximity for the Explosive Knife. It also now sticks to surfaces, has a fuse time of 14 seconds, has an impact damage of 14, and they adjusted the detonation damage to 105. 6-shooter also got an update from this path, where the damage fall off starts a little bit farther away. 30 meters when firing from the hip, and 40 meters when firing aimed down sight. The Gunslinger away with the Sharpshooter. Bottom path also got a big update with Knife Juggler. They did a lot of changes to this, so bear with me while we go through this. They changed the damage from 120 to 140. The precision damage modifier has been changed from 1.3 to 1.5. This will now one-shot kill in PvP if you land a headshot. The animation has been updated to be longer to compensate for the fact that it can now one-shot. It also moves faster with left drop than previously, and now the knives will bounce once after impacting on the ground or anything else in the environment, so you can get some pretty cool bank shot kills if you want to try that out. They also updated Practice Makes Perfect. Super energy is now granted at a rate reduced by 16%. They also increased the buff's duration by 50%, and precision kills will now grant 2 stacks instead of 1. Crowd Pleaser has its original perks changed, and it has now been moved to Line 'em Up. The new perk is now called Knock 'em Down. Knock 'em Down has precision kills, increased weapon stability, and ADS speed. Buff duration starts 10 seconds, and each kill or assist adds time with a cap of 25 seconds per that buff, and this buff will not stack with Celestial Nighthawk. Line 'em Up now has a passive bonus to aim assist while aiming, and it now has the precision damage and precision hits with Golden Gun that generate Orbs of Light perks that was originally included with Crowd Pleaser. Night Stalker away with the Pathfinder. Bottom path of Night Stalker also got additions to Vanish and Smoke. They added a short period after the invisibility is applied where your firing weapons or performing other actions will not actually break your invisibility, so you'll be able to get a shot off before you go invisible now, which is kind of interesting. I want to see what they'll do with that. And this was obviously done to help prevent allies from accidentally breaking your invisibility right after you've been granted. And finally, for all of the Warlock changes to Dawnblade. Dawnblade Daybreak, this is for all paths, has reduced speed of burst glide activations while in your super, so you will not go as fast as you used to. No more yee-yeeing around the maps with Dawnblades anymore. You can't go that fast anymore. The top path, Dawnblade Attunement of the Sky, had changes to Swift Strike. They changed to Celestial Fire. It now shoots 3 spiraling homing projectiles, and it does 35 damage per projectile. This is actually shown off in the reveal trailer where the Warlock is in the air and is throwing it at the Vex Cyclops. He throws those 3 projectiles down, it homes, it actually kills it, which is really cool. So it does do a lot of damage per projectile. It's about 135 damage per projectile. Winged Sun has also been updated, so it now also allows Celestial Fire activations, and it no longer gives grenade energy for those aerial kills, but it does give more melee energy for aerial kills. Heat Rises also had perk redesign, so it now consumes your grenade and gain to Heat Rises buff. It dramatically reduces in-air accuracy with that penalty, changes movement mode, and reduces your upkeep glide activation by 99%, and also reduces the glide activation cost by 99%. And that is all they changed for that. Icarus Dash has also been updated and now has 2 dodges per 5 seconds. Dodge now has a slightly upward velocity, and the dodge in Super is now 1 long dodge per second. The middle tree of Dawnblade also got the majority of the updates, where Guiding Flame now has double range, Divine Protection now has double range, and Benevolent Dawn can now be refreshed by additional friendly targets. It also removed the cooldown from it and reduced the energy regeneration by 15%. Well of Radiance also got upgraded, so now Standing the Well grants 20% damage reduction against damage from other players, and the sword in the middle of the well no longer takes precision damage. The bottom path of Dawnblade also got an update where Phoenix Dive now heals over a fixed amount of time. The healing is not interruptible from incoming damage, and while in your super, it returns super energy depending on how much you've already healed. It does have diminishing returns the longer that your super is activated. That's it for Dawnblade, but Voidwalker also got a little bit of change here with Handheld Supernova. They adjusted the charge time of the grenade, so it also lines up with the animations. This is be able to make it feel more consistent, even though it kills me in one hit. It also makes it feel more consistent for those Warlocks out there. So if you've seen any inconsistencies with that Handheld Supernova, those should be fixed now. Bungie also updated stat values that actually make them have some use in your class and your min-maxing. So class ability cooldown is now governed by your stats, and it goes by class. Hunter dodge cooldown will be modified by mobility stats, so if you want that dodge cooldown, you want to spec mobility. Titan barricade will be modified by resilience, so you want to spec into resilience, and for Warlock rifts, you want to spec into recovery to pull that down. And all of your Paragon mods have been removed or depreciated, so you'll be able to dismantle those for weapon parts. And now on to some weapon changes, starting with Exotic's Divinity no longer stacks with other weaken effects. With your Titan shoulder charges or with your tractor cannons, they will no longer stack with that. It did make it a little too powerful to have Divinity with all of those stacking together, especially after Bungie said they didn't want to have all of those weaken effects stacking anymore, so that's obviously a good change. They also made some changes to Xenophage. They increased the PvE damage by 50%. They increased the PvP ammo from crates to 4 to 6. It was previously you get 3 to 4 shots, and that is with shared and non-shared crates respectively, so you get 4 shots now and 6 shots in a non-shared crate. Leviathan's Breath and Xenophage got updates where the weapon would get ammo after you switched from a different power weapon. Some of the ammo hot counts that you were getting from switching from different power weapons was a little too high, and they changed it so it would no longer get ammo when you're switching from other power weapons. There were basic bug fixes for Cerberus +1, where it fixed an issue where tapping the trigger would give you a faster fire rate when it was not supposed to. Ariana's Vow, and now it has increased reserves for the weapon, and the armor perks that you have will no longer increase the starting or spawning ammo that you have in Crucible. And Monte Carlo's perk, the Monte Carlo method, no longer has a 100% chance to trigger on Guardian kills, and it will now line up with the combatant chances. Some archetypes got changed up, and linear fusion rifles got their precision damage increased by 20%, but that will not affect your sleeper simulant, and the target acquisition in close and medium ranges has also been increased. Sidearms have increased target acquisition across the board, and that was really it for all of the weapon archetype changes. Now on to some perk changes. We have Master of Arms on the Recluse. They've removed the precision damage function. The weapon will still give you a damage bonus, but it will not all be precision hits anymore, like they said in previous notes, that they wanted it to make sure that Recluse was in line with the rest of the guns in the game. It was too good, and honestly, with some playtime that I've had today, it does not feel that much different. It still does really good damage, but obviously without that precision damage, it is a significant drop in damage overall. There were a lot of miscellaneous changes that really didn't affect much of the gameplay today. If you want to go check those out, the patch notes are on Bungie's website right now, and there were a ton, and I mean a ton of changes that happened in this update. Your power cap was increased from 960 to 970, your powerful cap is now 960, and your pinnacle cap is 970. Bounties got reduced, so now they are merged into one bounty for your gunsmith weekly bounties. They are now called field calibration, and you can choose what you want to do, and it'll share progress from all of those sources. And along with the changes to the exotic engrams, where the exotic and fated engrams are now a single engram with dupe protection applied to them, Eververse has also retired last season's engram, and it will now be the best of season 8 engram that you can go pick up whenever you have a chance. And that is it for major changes for this update. If you guys want to see the full and very, very detailed patch notes that Bungie put out, I will have a link in the description. I just wanted to cover major changes to the update, and now we're going to go on to some thoughts for this video. This is going to be really long. So I've had about 3 or 4 hours today to play with Season of the Dawn, and I gotta say, so far, I'm surprised to say that I'm enjoying it. The quest to unlock the sundial and to originally find Saint 14, I will not spoil anything for that. I will not spoil anything in this video, actually. I won't be talking anything like that until later on. But the opening mission, the opening cutscene, and the missions following to unlock the sundial were really fun. The obelisk rewards system is absolutely fantastic. The ability to link the sundial to different obelisks to get different rewards, different reward tiers, different guns, different types of guns from each destination that the obelisks go on is really cool so far. So far, all we have is the Mars and the Tangled Shore obelisk, and they have their different kind of rewards for them. You can also upgrade the obelisks to give you better rewards, better bounties, better rewards from those bounties, powerful rewards. I think they didn't want to reveal this because it was a lot of information that was easier to find out on our own. And the sundial, even though it feels like Diet Menagerie, I feel like it does not and will not get old very, very fast like I thought it was going to. I had a lot of low expectations for this patch and for this update, and today they kind of blew it out of the water for me. I did not expect this to be as good as it is, and I cannot actually wait to stop talking about it and go back to grinding it right now, which I haven't had this feeling since the start of Shadowkeep and a couple of weeks after it, and I'm really happy. I will definitely have more in-depth thoughts after the week has gone by and after we get deeper and deeper into the Season of Dawn. But for right now, I'm thinking it is really good right now. I think I want to get more into it. I know only 3 hours is not really that much, and I should be waiting a little longer to form opinions, but no one's the boss. I'm doing all I want. I think the Season of Dawn is going to be really good, and for $10, I think it's a great expansion. So if you have $10, I would definitely go get it, because all of this, I mean, I wouldn't say all of this stuff, but this amount of stuff for $10 is definitely worth it. And if you were expecting trials and a raid and a new dungeon and stuff like that, I definitely think your expectations were way too high for what Bungie said that they were going to crack down a little bit on releasing a whole bunch of content and stressing out their teams. And they decided to go the smaller route with this season and the following seasons and to culminate a big story. And I think once we get that story progression, it'll be much better. Anyway guys, thank you guys so much for sitting here for this patch preview and this very, very early thought and impressions of Season of the Dawn. If you guys enjoyed Season of the Dawn, let me know down in the comments below. If you guys want to see more stuff from Destiny 2, let me know what else you want to see in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out and take care.